Hi, this is Anthony. Welcome back to my show. So, I don't have a lot of Soundhound stock. I think I had like 100 shares about a year ago and sold at a fairly quick profit. And then have gotten it back into it just a little bit. I think literally maybe I have 15 shares, maybe 16, something like that in two different accounts. And the reason for that is some of that is in my Roth account, which I try to keep not only fully funded each year when I am able to make a contribution, but also fully invested. So sometimes I'll have just a little bit of stock or of cash left over after I've invested in stocks, and so I had enough to buy a little bit in that. I bought some more recently after I sold some other. Same thing with my regular account. I had a little bit of money, so I bought I think like 4 shares of Soundhound in that. Anyway, it was up 17.34% today. Quite a big jump. You see it right there. A lot of news. Don't invest in anything that you see me talk about until you've done your own research. My whole point is just putting these on your radar so you can do your own research. Be very cautious when you read any articles because people sometimes have an agenda. Or they're just talking about something that's up and makes it sound good, even though there's not necessarily, and I'm not saying that this is true for Soundhound, but not necessarily fundamentals behind it to make it sound like a good stock. This one here says DA Davidson boosts its price to $15. Well, as you can see, it's almost $16 now, so, you know. Anyway, always check out their fundamentals, which is their financials. They do seem to be profitable in the last quarter, which ended in March 2025. Don't invest in any stock that you don't know what they do. They're a voice artificial intelligence company, so when you call up somebody and you're talking to what sounds like a real person on like a help desk, they may have made that software that allows the AI to respond to you rather than in text, but rather using voice. Okay, so there's one day. Here's 5 days, 1 month, 6 months, and you see we're back up above a little bit what it was back in February there. This probably is the time of some of the tariff news. Year to date, you would be down 21%. But that was because right at the end of the year it had spiked up. So there was a big spike up at the end of the year, and then it's going back up. That's 1 year there. In 5 years, it's only been out for 5 years. So you see a big spike after it came out. Here's another little spike there, big spike there, big spike here. Don't try to predict stock movements based on charts like this. That's called technical analysis. It works when it doesn't, and it doesn't work a lot of the time. It's kind of like astrology. You can read your horoscope, and sometimes it makes sense and for your life, and other times it doesn't. But people read into it what they want. So it's $15.90. Could it go higher tomorrow or next week or the next couple weeks? Yeah. Or this could be the high and it could drop down again, like here, like there, like there. So I think that all people should generally hold most of their stocks in well-diversified portfolios like mutual funds. Sometimes it's fun to play around with single stocks like this. If you're here and it's going up, it's probably not going to go up to the sky. You might want to take off some of your profits there. What some people do is if you buy 100 shares of something and it doubles, people will sell half of those shares and put it into something else so that any further increase is pure profit on those. Now, of course, if you do that in a regular account, you'd have to pay taxes, so that might be a consideration. Most of my money is in a Roth IRA, so when I sell, I don't have to pay taxes on my gains. Of course, I can't write off any losses, but the point is try not to invest in too many stocks that have losses. While we're here, Big Bear, I own 100 shares of Big Bear. Um, Not necessarily a good investment. I think they're still losing money. Yeah, losing 25 cents a share. Um, Down 30% in after hours. That could pop back up. Who knows what the news there is. I haven't looked up. It falls on massive earnings miss. Okay. Big Bear is sinking. Here's the biggest problem from earnings. Obviously, if you were going to go into this, which is very speculative, and I'm not suggesting that you do, if I could go back in time, I probably wouldn't buy the shares. Again, it's a insignificant amount compared to my overall Roth IRA, so I'm not worried about that. 1 month, there's 6 months. Year to date, big spike up there like everything else in AI. 1 year, you see that. 5 years, it was a SPAC, jumped up quite a bit, doubled, and then collapsed. Just imagine if you bought up here at $20 a share. You're probably kicking yourself. But you see spikes there, spikes there, spikes there, spikes there. Could be a spike, or could, go up in the future. Obviously, if you don't think it's going to go up in the future, get out of it and put your money into something that might go up in the future. Remember, the whole point of the stock market is having more money than you started out with. Unless you're shorting, which most people are not, you should be buying things at lower prices and selling at higher prices. While this is up, let's take a look at Palantir. Palantir down 2.29% today. Nothing to get too worried about. 5 days, you're up 6.22%. 1 month, you're up almost 29%. 6 months, up 62%. Year to date, up 142%. 52 weeks, you're up 521%. So that's an average of roughly 10% a week. 5 years, long time in the desert of it going sideways. That was the time to buy. I happened to buy it, I think, right around this point here. I started buying about $12, $13 a share, knowing that you had some very smart geniuses behind it, and they weren't going to let it do nothing forever. It got down. I don't know if I bought in the $6 range. I might have got a few shares, but of course, after that, it became profitable and started going up and up and up. Again, be very cautious when something's going up so much. It has a PE ratio of 607%. That's not sustainable for the long run. Could there be a pullback, but over the long run? And again, I'm intending to hold this for a long time. Will the chart look great in the future? I think so. Again, read news, read older news, look at the financials going back, use AI to get you financials. Sometimes it's hard to get some of the financials lately, but AI sometimes is able to go around and get financials. Anyway, this is much longer than I thought. I'm going to stop now. Love to hear from you. Leave your comments. Did I inspire you about anything? Do you own any of these? Leave a comment in the comments section. I always read them, and eventually I get around to responding to them. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe and hit like. Check out my other videos. I do a lot of videos on unsolved mysteries, but also a lot on stock investing, individual stocks, mutual funds, things like that. Thank you so much. I do truly appreciate your time.